Have you been struggling with that burning sensation in your chest after meals? What if I told you that simple changes to your diet could dramatically reduce your reflux symptoms and help you enjoy food again? In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 foods that could be silently making your reflux worse, especially if you're over 60. These common items might be in your kitchen right now, sabotaging your digestive health without you even realizing it. By the end of our time together, you'll have practical knowledge that can help you enjoy meals without that uncomfortable burning sensation. You'll discover why these foods are particularly problematic as we age and what you can substitute instead if you've been popping antacids like candy. This information might be the game changer you've been searching for. So grab a glass of water, yes, water, not coffee or orange juice, for reasons I'll explain soon. And let's dive into the foods that could be fueling your reflux fire. Let's talk about something that affects millions of people over 60, acid reflux, that uncomfortable burning sensation that creeps up your throat after eating certain foods. You know what I'm talking about, right? That feeling that makes you regret that delicious meal you just enjoyed. But what if I told you that understanding exactly which foods trigger your reflux could help you enjoy eating again without discomfort? Have you ever wondered why reflux seems to get worse as we age? It's not just in your imagination. After 60, our digestive system undergoes natural changes. The sphincter muscle that separates your stomach from your esophagus, think of it as a one-way valve, tends to weaken over time. Does that sound familiar to what you've been experiencing? When this happens, stomach acid can more easily flow backward, causing that familiar burning sensation we call heartburn or acid reflux. Now, I want you to think about your last reflux episode. What did you eat beforehand? Was it something spicy, something acidic, or perhaps something fatty? Your body might be trying to tell you something important about these foods. The first food on our list of reflux triggers might surprise you because many consider it a healthy option. It's citrus fruits, oranges, grapefruits, lemons. They're packed with vitamin C and antioxidants, but they're also highly acidic. Have you noticed that orange juice with breakfast sometimes leads to heartburn later? That's not a coincidence. The acid in these fruits can irritate an already sensitive esophagus, especially in people over 60. Does this mean you should abandon citrus fruits entirely? Not necessarily. What if you try less acidic fruits instead? Bananas, melons, and apples can provide similar nutrients without the reflux trigger. When was the last time you enjoyed a juicy melon without worrying about heartburn afterward? Moving on to our second culprit, tomatoes and tomato-based products. Think about it. Pasta sauce, pizza, ketchup, salsa. How often do these foods make an appearance in your weekly meals despite their nutritional benefits? Tomatoes are highly acidic and can trigger reflux symptoms almost immediately in sensitive individuals. Have you ever enjoyed a delicious Italian dinner only to be kept awake by heartburn hours later? What's interesting about tomatoes is that cooking them actually increases their acidity, contrary to what many believe. So that slow-simmered tomato sauce might actually be more likely to cause reflux than a fresh tomato. Isn't that surprising? When was the last time you made pasta with a non-tomato-based sauce? Alternatives like pesto, olive oil with herbs, or a light cream sauce might satisfy your pasta craving without the reflux consequence. Let's talk about the third food group that commonly triggers reflux, especially after 60, fried and fatty foods. Hamburgers, French fries, fried chicken, even that crispy bacon at breakfast. These foods take longer to digest, meaning they sit in your stomach longer. Can you guess what happens when food sits in your stomach too long? That's right. Your stomach produces more acid to break it down, increasing the chances of that acid flowing back up into your esophagus. Additionally, fatty foods can temporarily weaken the sphincter muscle I mentioned earlier, making it easier for acid to escape. Have you noticed that fast food seems to trigger your reflux more than home-cooked meals? That's likely because restaurant foods often contain hidden fats used to enhance flavor. What if, instead of eliminating these foods completely, you tried healthier cooking methods? Baking, grilling, or air frying can significantly reduce the fat content while preserving flavor. When was the last time you experimented with your air fryer to make a healthier version of your favorite fried food? Our fourth reflux trigger is one many people struggle to give up: caffeine. Coffee, tea, energy drinks, and even chocolate contain caffeine that can relax that important sphincter muscle and increase acid production. Is that morning cup of coffee worth the reflux discomfort it might cause later? For many people over 60, the answer might be a reluctant no. Caffeine is particularly tricky because it's not just about the acid in coffee. It's about how caffeine affects the muscles in your digestive system. Have you noticed that even decaffeinated coffee sometimes triggers your reflux? That's because, while the caffeine is reduced, the acids remain. What if you tried herbal teas like chamomile or ginger instead? These might actually help soothe your digestive system rather than irritate it. And speaking of beverages, let's talk about our fifth reflux trigger, alcohol. Wine with dinner, a cocktail at social gatherings, or a beer while watching sports. Alcohol, particularly red wine, could be a major reflux trigger for people over 60. Have you noticed a pattern of reflux symptoms after enjoying alcoholic beverages? There's a scientific reason for this. Alcohol, like caffeine, relaxes that crucial sphincter muscle while also irritating the lining of your esophagus and increasing acid production, a triple threat for reflux sufferers. White wines tend to be more acidic than reds, but red wines contain compounds that can trigger reflux in other ways. Isn't it interesting how our bodies respond differently to various types of alcohol? If you enjoy the social aspect of drinking, have you considered alcohol-free alternatives? Sparkling water with lime, mocktails, or non-alcoholic beers have come a long way in terms of flavor. When was the last time you tried one of these options at a gathering? Now, I want to address something important. Have you been experiencing reflux symptoms regularly despite watching your diet? Or have you noticed symptoms like chronic cough, difficulty swallowing, or feeling like something is stuck in your throat? These could be signs of a condition called GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and it's worth discussing with your doctor. When was your last checkup? Remember that reflux that occurs frequently isn't something you should just live with. It can lead to more serious conditions if left untreated. Let's talk about timing, which can be just as important as food choices. Have you noticed that eating large meals late at night worsens your reflux symptoms? That's because lying down after eating can make it easier for stomach acid to flow back into your esophagus. What if you tried eating your larger meals earlier in the day and kept dinner lighter? Many reflux sufferers find that not eating for at least 3 hours before bedtime makes a significant difference in nighttime symptoms. Asterisk, and here's another tip that might help: elevation. Have you tried raising the head of your bed about 6 inches? This simple adjustment uses gravity to help keep stomach acid where it belongs while you sleep. When was the last time you evaluated your sleeping position in relation to your reflux symptoms? Now, I know what you might be thinking. If I avoid all these foods, what's left to eat? That's a valid concern, and I want to assure you that managing reflux doesn't mean eliminating all pleasure from eating. What if you focus on the many foods that typically don't trigger reflux? Lean proteins, whole grains, non-citrus fruits, vegetables except tomatoes and onions, healthy fats like avocados and olive oil. There's still a world of delicious options available to you. Have you considered keeping a food diary to identify your specific triggers? Everyone's body responds differently, and a food that triggers reflux in one person might be perfectly fine for another. Wouldn't it be empowering to know exactly which foods affect you personally, rather than avoiding entire food groups unnecessarily? It's also worth mentioning that how to eat can be as important as how you eat. Have you tried eating smaller, more frequent meals instead of 3 large ones, chewing food thoroughly, sitting upright while eating, and for at least 30 minutes afterward? These simple habits can significantly reduce reflux symptoms regardless of age. And here's something many people don't realize: stress can worsen reflux symptoms by increasing acid production and affecting digestion. Have you noticed that your reflux tends to flare up during particularly stressful periods? What stress management techniques have you found helpful? Whether it's gentle yoga, meditation, deep breathing, or simply spending time in nature, finding ways to reduce stress might indirectly help manage your reflux symptoms. Weight is another factor that can impact reflux, especially as we age. Extra weight around the midsection can put pressure on your stomach, forcing acid upward. Have you discussed with your doctor whether weight management might help reduce your reflux symptoms? Even modest weight loss can sometimes make a significant difference. I also want to address medications, as many commonly prescribed drugs can either cause or worsen reflux symptoms. These include certain blood pressure medications, pain relievers, and osteoporosis treatments. If you're taking any of these, have you discussed possible alternatives with your healthcare provider? Never stop taking prescribed medication without medical guidance. But it's worth having the conversation. Now, let's talk about some reflux-friendly alternatives to the trigger foods we've discussed. Instead of orange juice in the morning, Have you tried a smoothie made with banana, almond milk, and a touch of honey? Rather than tomato sauce on your pasta, what about a delicious pesto or olive oil with fresh herbs instead of fried chicken? Have you experimented with herb-crusted baked chicken that's just as flavorful, but easier on your digestive system? For coffee lovers, have you tried herbal chicory root coffee that provides a similar taste experience without the caffeine or acid, and instead of that glass of wine with dinner? Perhaps sparkling water with a splash of pomegranate juice in a wine glass can provide a similar sensory experience without the reflux trigger. Isn't it encouraging to know that for almost every reflux trigger, there's a satisfying alternative? Managing reflux doesn't have to mean deprivation. It's about making informed choices that allow you to enjoy eating without suffering the consequences later. I'd also like to share a few natural remedies that some find helpful for occasional reflux. Have you tried ginger tea? Ginger has natural anti-inflammatory properties that may help calm the digestive system. What about chewing sugar-free gum after meals? This can stimulate saliva production, which helps neutralize acid. Even something as simple as drinking a glass of water can help dilute stomach acid and flush it back down where it belongs. Remember, everyone's body is different, and what works for one person might not work for another. Have you been patient with yourself through this process of identifying triggers and finding solutions? Managing reflux is often a journey of trial and error, requiring both patience and persistence. I want to emphasize that while dietary changes can make a tremendous difference in managing reflux, they're not always enough. If you've made significant changes to your diet and habits, but still suffer from frequent or severe symptoms, it's important to consult with a healthcare provider. Have you had a thorough evaluation of your reflux symptoms? Sometimes what seems like typical reflux can actually be a symptom of other conditions that require different treatment approaches. As we get older, our relationship with food inevitably changes. The spicy foods we could tolerate in our younger years might now cause discomfort. The late-night snacks we once enjoyed might now disrupt our sleep with reflux symptoms. Have you been resisting these changes or embracing them as part of your body's natural evolution? Adjusting our expectations and habits as we age isn't giving up, it's wisdom. And speaking of wisdom, I'd love to hear about the strategies you found helpful for managing your reflux symptoms. Have certain dietary changes made a significant difference for you? Do you have a go-to remedy for occasional heartburn? Your experience might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. If you've stayed with me this far, I want to thank you for your attention to this important topic. Understanding the foods that trigger your reflux is the first step toward finding relief. By making thoughtful adjustments to your diet, you might be able to enjoy eating without fear of that familiar burning sensation afterward. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I hope this information has been helpful to you. If it has, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find this information who might be struggling with the same issues. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel for more content about managing health concerns that commonly affect people over 60. Do you have questions about managing reflux that I haven't addressed? Or perhaps you have insights from your own experience to share? Please leave them in the comments below. I'd especially love to hear if you found success with eliminating any of the 5 trigger foods we discussed today. Type relief in the comments if you're committed to trying some of these suggestions to find relief from your reflux symptoms. And remember, the next time you feel that familiar burning sensation creeping up, ask yourself what you ate recently. Was it one of these 5 common triggers? Your body is giving you valuable information if you're willing to listen. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video, which will appear on your screen shortly. Here's to enjoying food without the fear of reflux.